Hey guys, so a little over 2 years ago I made a video called Tips and Tricks for Your First Anime Convention. At the time I'd been to around like 4 cons. 2 years later I've been to over 30 and I've learned a lot of things I didn't know back then. So now the time has come. This is the new and improved edition of Tips and Tricks for Your First Anime Convention. If you watch all the way through the video and think I missed something, please comment what I missed so that we can help everyone out with as many tips as possible. There's a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's get started. So, you decided you want to go to an anime convention but don't know where to start. I'm leaving a link at the top of the description of this video that will take you to the website animecons.com. This is the website that I personally use to find cons I go to. It also links to the websites for each con if you click into it. Before you even pick a con, there's still a lot to think about. If you pick one that's too far away, it's going to cost you more money in transportation. But you also need to think about what size of con you wish to go to. Most last for 3 days, but some last for 4, and there are some that even only last for 1 day. So always make sure you check how long the convention actually is. It's also important to think about the attendance size of the convention that you wish to go to. There are basically 3 sizes of cons: small, medium, and large. Large cons can be much more overwhelming, especially for a first-time con goer. They also often end up being huge party cons. If that's what you're looking for, go for it. But just be ready because these events get huge. Small cons are more what I would recommend to a first-time con goer. Everything is much slower and you have a much better chance of meeting people and making new friends. Also at small cons, it's much easier to go to all the events you want to go to. You will also have a much more personal time with any of the guests that you wish to meet at the con. Medium cons are a good mix of small and large. If you're not wanting to be overwhelmed, but you don't want a small con, go with medium. A small con to me is anything under 5,000 people. A medium con is around 5,000 to 20,000. And a large con is anything upwards of 20,000. Once you find the one that looks good for you, I recommend going to Facebook and looking up the Facebook group page for the convention. Most all conventions have groups on Facebook dedicated to them. I would join this group so you can start talking to people and have a place where you can ask questions to others who have been going to the con for years. Some questions you may want to ask are: what size is the con? Is there a food court or places nearby where you can eat? Do you have to pay for parking? And if so, how much is it? Just things of this nature to help you prepare for the convention. Speaking of food, before you leave, even if they do have some places to eat, I recommend you go shopping and bring some food so that you can eat throughout the weekend, as well as a decent amount of water. You don't want to get dehydrated. You need to seriously make sure you take time to stop and eat during the weekend. Sometimes you're having so much fun that you just don't think about it. But try to have at least 3 meals each day and drink a lot of water. You don't want to be the person that passes out and has to get carried out of the con into an ambulance. Yes, that happens. I see it at least once almost every con I go to. On the topic of what to bring, make sure you pack the things you need to shower. Showering is a must at cons. I know this may sound weird for me to say if you've never been, but there are people who really do not shower at cons, and they stink very bad. Don't be this person. I would also recommend you bring a blanket and a pillow. You never know what will happen at a con, and you may always end up sleeping on the floor. While on the topic, at most anime conventions, events keep going all through the night, but try to get at least 6 hours of sleep a night. I know you just want to keep going, but remember, your body still needs to rest. When packing to leave, I seriously recommend you write up a list of everything you need to bring so you don't miss something. This could be the difference between having your cosplay and forgetting it at home. And yes, I do know people that forgot their cosplay at home. On the topic of cosplay, don't worry about thinking you need to cosplay. Not everyone does, and it's totally normal to be at a con out of cosplay. Also, don't think you need to cosplay an anime character. I know it's an anime con, but a very large amount of cosplayers are from games or other media. It's not weird at all. Just cosplay whatever you like. A few other little things to remember to bring are things like medicine, tools to fix your cosplay if it breaks, and a bag to walk around with. Look into hotels as early as you can. They fill up fast, especially if it's a big con. It's also a good idea to pre-register. All the registration and hotel information can be found on the specific convention you're looking into's website. Try to get a hotel as close to the con as you can. If you really want the 100% full convention experience, get a hotel at the convention's host hotel. That way, you never have to leave the con for 3 to 4 days. Cons often have discounted hotels for their attendees, so check their website and look under their hotel or location tab to find what those hotels are. It's also a good idea to bring friends with you. This makes the hotels way cheaper by splitting the cost. If you're the person in charge of getting the hotel room in your name, you need to collect the money from the other people who are going. Do it however you want, but in my group, the rule is if you back out within 2 weeks of the con, you don't get your money back, because we don't have time to find someone to replace you. Also, a good way to get people to pay up early is to give out beds to those who pay first. A lot of times, people bring more people than there are beds, so if you're the last to pay, sorry, but it looks like you're gonna be on the floor. Also, seriously, try to bring people who you know and trust. You don't want to have to go through some drama with the room because someone you hardly know won't pay or is just a horrible person to room with. Take some time before leaving for the con to look over the schedule. It's normally posted on their website sometime before the event. Take time to plan out and decide what you're gonna do when you're there over the weekend. The events listed on the schedule are called panels. A big part of cons are panels. They're normally 1 to 2 hours long. A lot of the biggest and best panels are put on by the convention themselves, but a lot of panels are put on just by fans. If you're interested in running a panel, there will be information about how to do that on the convention's website. If you plan on going to any main events panels, such as the cosplay contest, which is a highly recommended panel, I would suggest getting in line early to make sure you can get in, or at least get a good seat. Remember, the bigger the con, the more time you'll probably spend waiting in lines. If you're planning to meet guests such as voice actors or YouTubers or anything like that, remember to always be nice and respectful to them. They're taking time out to come out to this event. There are probably a ton of people who want to meet them, and they may need to get somewhere, so they may not always have time to stop in a hallway and talk to you. If you feel like one of them blows you off, don't take it personal. They're even more busy than we are at cons. Also, just relax and breathe. They're normal people like you and me. Just try to remember that. Be respectful to staff members of the convention. Remember that they're going out of their way to put on this convention for you and to make sure everything runs smooth. It can be extremely stressful, so try to listen to the things they tell you and understand where they're coming from. This is very important. Budget yourself. Cons can cost a lot of money if you aren't careful, but if you take time and think about what you're doing and spending money on, it can be totally manageable. Starting with before you even leave for the con, remember that you will have to pay for a hotel room, so get friends to go and split the money. This will help a lot. Try to pre-register for the con to help save money on your badge. If early enough, this could save you upwards of $40 depending on the size of the con. Remember, you will have to buy food, so take that into account, as well as paying for parking if it takes place in a downtown setting. To help save money once at the con, I recommend bringing cash and not allowing yourself to spend more than the cash that you bring with you. This way, no matter what, you won't spend more than that. When it comes to shopping in the dealer's room, try to look at everything once before you buy. Sometimes different vendors sell the same thing for different prices. I once bought something for $7 that another booth was selling for $35, so pay attention. It can also help to wait until Sunday to buy. If what you want to buy is a very popular item, it may sell out. But if not, sometimes they give discounts on Sunday because they don't want to pack everything back up. This doesn't always work, but every now and then you will save money this way. Speaking of the dealer's room, what is it? Cons have a huge room called the dealer's room where vendors come to sell normally official merchandise. Some things you can expect to find in the dealer's room include DVDs and Blu-rays, figures, wall scrolls, Japanese candy, swords, plushies, and much more. Cons also have an area called the Artist Alley. This is a lot like the dealer's room, but it's more local or smaller artists who are selling products that they made. A lot of times the artist alley will have things that are cheaper to buy, but that doesn't always mean that they're worse in quality. They just aren't official merchandise. Please try to be nice to artists when talking about their work, as normally they made it themselves and are out there trying to sell it. This is a lot of work and they don't need you trashing on it. When you first get to the convention, the first thing you should do after checking into your room is to go ask around and find out where you pick up your badge. Sometimes the line to get your badge can take hours, so be prepared for that. But once you have your badge, that gets you into everything at the convention. The only exception would be if you're underage and trying to get into an 18+ panel. Yes, there are panels with age restrictions. These panels are normally hentai panels or after dark voice actor panels. These panels are really funny, but don't try to sneak in. They're always checking these panels and you will get caught. The next thing you should do if you have a weapon for your cosplay is to head to weapons check. Here they will check your prop and make sure it meets the rules for the con. If you're worried about this, they normally list the rules for weapons on their website, but normally you'll be okay if you just don't bring any real weapons. But I recommend you read up about it on their website to be sure. Every con is different. There's a lot to do at cons outside of the dealer's room and panels. One of the first things you'll notice is that there are cosplayers everywhere. It's totally okay and expected if you want to take pictures of them, but you need to make sure you ask first. If they say no, then that means no. Do not try to pressure them into letting you take one, or just take one without permission. Doing this kind of thing can get you into hot water at cons. I want to make sure that you remember that cosplayers are normal people, not the characters they're dressing as, so treat them like a normal person. If you're cosplaying, expect to be asked for pictures and even sometimes videos. People like myself go there to record cosplay music videos. It will happen. If your cosplay is good, you may be asked a lot, and it may be hard for you to even walk from one place to another. If you're in a hurry and can't stop, just tell them that, but don't be rude. If you are going to be cosplaying, I also recommend you take a little time in front of a mirror practicing poses. Yes, I'm very serious about this. If you have a good pose, when the pictures start coming out online, they will look much better and less awkward. Poses also help if you're asked to be in a cosplay music video. I would recommend having 2 or 3 ready. Something else you should check out is the game room. There's almost always a game room at cons, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Games. A ton of them. Normally, they're gonna have almost every console you can think of, as well as arcade and rhythm games. The game room can be one of the best areas to hang out, but be sure to be respectful to others waiting to play. Take your turn, and after a while move on and let someone else play. A few other things you should check out are the concerts, if the con has any, the formal dance, and the raves. The raves are exactly as they sound, huge dance parties to loud EDM. They're often a great time. Most cons have 1, if not 2 or 3 during the weekend. They're often the last event in the main events room each night. I recommend you bring nothing with you to the raves. You don't want anything to get stolen, and they always have water set up in the back of the room. Some raves have age restrictions, but not all of them. Late at night, even outside the raves, the con really turns into a party. This is the anime con nightlife. When this starts, it's time for young kids to go to bed and older people to party through the night. Make sure you be careful and smart, and remember to go to bed at some point. 6 hours of sleep, guys. Now, just a few final things that didn't really fit in anywhere else. Find the stairs. Elevators fill up fast and can become a problem at cons. You may have to bite the bullet and walk. I'm serious. If you're claustrophobic, find the stairs. Don't go to a con expecting to fall in love. Yes, there are people there that like the same things as you, but be smart. Remember that people are different at cons than they are in real life. If you do meet someone you like, get to know them outside of the con before jumping into anything. Don't worry too much about the people at cons. Most everyone I have ever met at a con are really nice people, but do use good judgment. If someone gives you a bad feeling, just avoid the person. If someone tries to do something creepy to you, touches you without permission, or says unwanted sexual things to you, it's recommended that you tell a staff member right away so they can watch this person and possibly pull them from the con. Finally, just explore, guys. There's so much going on at conventions. Even just in the hallways, you'll be able to find things that you really don't want to miss. Anime conventions can be the best time of your life. Just be smart and enjoy it while you're there in the moment. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped. Be sure to share this video so anyone else who's thinking about going to an anime convention can see it. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe for way more anime convention content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, thanks for watching this tips and tricks video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it does help a lot. I put annotations that link to older tips and tricks videos if you want to check them out. Don't forget to support me on Patreon to get videos early, get access to private videos like my unedited vlogs, my personal story times, and private Q&As with the whole crew, as well as much more. There's also an annotation for the Convention Reviews merch shop, where you can get shirts, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Don't forget to stay positive and always follow your dreams. See you in the next video.